It's the story of the hurricane, the man the authorities came to blame. Welcome to Nerds Gone Rogue, episode 113. My name is Matthew Keel at Infinite_Rewind on every social media platform I should choose to accept. Alongside me is currently dealing with a hurricane in North Carolina, but staying safe. And
rocking like a hurricane.
It was a hurricane. And then it turned into
Moose!
a tropical storm.
At Svhenn, what it do, sir?
Tropical storm Moose.
So, funny people. I'd love to see that on the news one day.
It's gonna be my next Firefront character, Tropical Storm.
But she downgraded pretty quickly. I think she hit landfall, and then within an hour or two, she was downgraded to a tropical storm. So, like people in North Carolina were going crazy. Like Kelly went out Saturday just to get some quick stuff, and like the juice section, nothing. Like she said, there was milk. There was nothing in like the tuna fish or like canned chicken aisle, like canned meat aisle. Like everything was out, and I'm like, they're acting like it's a Category 5 hurricane that's going to hit the coast, because it usually, as soon as it hits the coast, it kind of dies down, and that's pretty. I mean, I'm not saying that she didn't do damage. I'm not saying that there wasn't flooding and people shouldn't have prepared, but we're 220 some miles inland, so we didn't have a huge issue. Like we just had a lot of rain on Sunday. All of our stuff came yesterday because it hit like late Friday. It was supposed to hit us early Saturday. Like Friday night, we didn't even see rain. I didn't even hear rain. I didn't hear it till the next day, till Saturday morning. So it wasn't hitting us till Saturday, and then like it really hit us on Sunday, like the rest of it, like the outer spirals coming off the tropical storm. But yeah, so everything was fine. We had a lot of water. Look, obviously puddles in the yard and all that stuff. We went out driving yesterday and saw some trees that just like fell, because the problem with North Carolina, it's all like red clay, so there's nothing like really keeping stuff.
You get
like,
that ground wet, the support structure just
it's just like
it just melts.
Yeah, so like our concern is we've got 2 maple trees in our front yard, which is that way, and then in our backyard we have a maple tree.
Which way is the gym?
The gym is nowhere, because I ain't going. But anyway,
I just see that scene in Tommy Boy. You know what a weight room is?
You know where the weight room is?
I'll check it out.
But our concern is just hopefully the maple trees won't fall on the house. But I mean, they're still alive, so it's not really that big of an issue for us. But yeah, so we had one little limb fall down and it hit the truck, but didn't do any damage. It was just funny. Kelly tried to park the truck so it wouldn't get hit by any limbs. And I was like, that's pretty failed. I was like, Kelly. Yeah. So,
way to go, Kelly.
Kelly. I think she said there was like 30-some or 20 to 30-some deaths from it. So I think it was 17 this morning, and then it got upgraded to either 23 or 32. I get my numbers mixed up this evening because they've been finding more people, which is sad. Like one of the first incidents was a lady and her infant were killed when the tree fell on their house, which, I mean, they were told to evacuate. That was on the coast. It's like you're told to evacuate. I mean, we lost power yesterday for like a half hour, but it's because one of the transformers blew out on the main road. So, you know.
I don't know what being told to evacuate comes with. Like growing up in Iowa, we had the big flood of '93. That basically I just realized that's like a new millennium has come around. So we had back in my day, we had the flood of 1993. But that knocked out power for most of the greater Des Moines area for like a week. And some places were without power for up to 2 months because of that flood. It affected the entire state. And like we had to like leave the area to shower. Like we could not, run our water. Even once water came back on, they said, "Hey, don't just start guzzling water like it's going out of style. It might still need to be properly treated. So just be caution, use caution." So yeah, like I don't know when someone has to evacuate for a hurricane. I don't know if that's a situation where we're being told to evacuate, but we don't have anywhere to go.
So. Yeah, I know. Like a lot of people came towards the mountains. Mm-hmm. So like, and a lot of the streamers that I watch, like I love Battlefield, so I watch Battlefield Friends. So like Neebs Gaming and Thick44, they're the guys in Battlefield Friends. Me? Did I watch you?
Yeah,
I haven't seen you stream. I didn't know you were streaming. I gotta check that out. I'll watch.
Thanks, man.
But
well, I know you guys record squad goals. I didn't know you streamed it.
I didn't know that either.
I mean, we started streaming stuff because it's just easier to do that for that show, and because like, I mean, we recorded a bunch of stuff in advance, but like, it sometimes when you record stuff in advance, it like the content's out of date by the time it airs, and it's just like, look, we want to record stuff for blackout mode for Call of Duty, which very surprised by how good that is.
Y'all are liking it?
Yeah, Jesse's friend Pat got us all codes, so we played that this weekend.
Nice,
but there's a weird amount of buzz that has me interested around that, and I don't like it. I don't like it at all.
Well,
I don't like it either.
Extremely polished PUBG, which I'm not shocked at.
I should not be interested in playing Call of Duty.
It's like everything you like about PUBG with Call of Duty's shooting mechanics, and it's like,
oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yeah, I'm like, yeah. And like even when you jump in, it's like it's not just like you're jumping out of the plane and then pulling the parachute. You have wingsuits and you can fly to wherever you want to go.
Nice.
So nice. It was like we weren't planning on playing for like 4 hours the other night, but we ended up playing the beta.
You did.
Played for 4 hours.
Nice.
It was. Call of Duty's got a contending battle royale mode. I'm gonna just throw it out there.
Nice.
Well, I don't think Call of Duty has the cachet to kill Fortnite. But
no. But
yes, I realize that's a freaking stupid statement because still, all these years later, Call of Duty isn't dead. So, and that's because the shooting is actually really good in Call of Duty. But
yeah, playing it actually reminded me of how much I actually enjoyed playing the campaigns of that game, and how kind of disappointed I am that 4 is not going to have a campaign.
Yeah.
I mean, I haven't played a campaign since Black Ops 2. I think was the last Call of Duty campaign I played. So, because I just don't really care about Call of Duty, to be honest with you. Like I went through that phase where I enjoyed Modern Warfare 1 and 2 and Black Ops 1, and I tried to play some Black Ops 2, but turns out when you buy Call of Duty for Wii U, nobody's online to play it. So just
weird.
I know, right? So it was interesting though playing that game again and how much it just like feels really good.
Wow.
Surprise. You throw a bunch of money behind a stellar IP, it might be good.
Yeah.
So, but
yeah, I mean, I think this says more about where PUBG's at than where Call of Duty is.
Yeah, and then we played like the PUBG 1.0 release just came out on Xbox One, and it's pretty good too. You know,
like, is it running well?
Yeah, I mean, I'm running it on an Xbox One X. It runs at a solid 30 frames a second, and there's no more texture popping. There's vehicles, like it's the full release. It plays well. It's not nearly as pretty as Black Ops 4, but I mean, plays well. So
right.
It's like the shooting is like, man, going from PUBG to Fortnite to Blackout or Black Ops 4 is like the shooting.
Mm-hmm.
There's a reason why Call of Duty is still like thriving, man. Like it feels really good. It's the same reason. It's the same thing I said about Halo 5 when I first started playing that multiplayer again about a year ago. It's like there's a reason why this series is still around, man. It just feels really good to like run around and shoot guys. So
yeah. Well, like it's funny. Like I spent the last not the last 2 days I was at the urgent care that I was working at for the last couple times, and I have my Switch, and people see it and they're like, "Oh, you have a Switch. What do you play Call of Duty on?" I go, "I don't play Call of Duty." They're like, "But you play video games." I'm like, "Yeah, I know. I get how that works."
I know. I had an interesting thing. I had an interesting interaction at work today.
then it gets in. And then they're like, "Oh, well, my kids play Fortnite. Do you play that?" I go, I have played Fortnite, and they're like, "Well, what's the deal with it?" I'm like, what do you mean?
It's free.
Like
it's available everywhere. That's why people are playing it.
It's free. It's available on everything.
Mm-hmm.
It's actually not bad. Like, I mean,
no, it's good. Yeah,
no, it's really fun.
Like, I mean, you have to think about. Like, here's the thing. Think about a movie you're going to go see. Why are you going to see it? Well, the story is what I want, or like there's an actor in it, or there's something about it, regardless of what it actually is, that will draw you to it, right? And now, let's say you want to go see a Cary Grant movie, because I only like old movies, and your kids are like, "Oh, but that's old," and you know it. And they're like, "Well, yeah, I hate when that happens." I go, "Yeah, but think about you going the other way now. Like you're immediately just dismissing something without looking into it yourself." Now, do I think Fortnite is a problem? I could see why it could cause some problems. I don't think Fortnite's the problem. I mean, like, for example, moving on from another thing, like moving on to another tangent, like I'm starting a new schedule tonight at work where I work midnight or 12:30 to 8:30 in the morning. And in order to readjust, I stayed up all night playing video games. And they're like, "Well, I don't understand how my kid can be just drawn to that." Well, I go, usually on any normal night, I am tapped out by like midnight. I fall asleep probably at the controller, wake up, and then go to bed. But this past night, I was so driven to get as far as I could in that game. Like I never got tired. And about 9 a.m. 11 a.m. this morning, I put the controller down, stood up, and I'm like, and just all of a sudden exhaustion just washed over me. And I'm like, "Yep, need to find a place to sleep." My point here is, like, when you're into something and you can focus on it, you can usually forget everything else. I mean, think about it this way. Your kids or people you know are focusing in on Fortnite, a game that doesn't necessarily cause problems apart from the shitty things people do adjacent to Fortnite. But they could be focusing on something way worse for them than a video game, especially a cartoony one like Fortnite. And they're like, and they're like, "I never thought of it that way."
Yeah. It's like when I was, it's like when I was younger. Sorry, Mom, I'm going to tell this story.
Yeah.
she watches for some reason. I don't
Hi,
know.
Mom.
But she's like, she used to get mad at me because I would like buy games and stuff with my money, and her friend's like, you know, he could be spending that money on like drugs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just
Although I think video games is even as debilitating habit or addiction. But that's just me.
Look at this guy.
I feel like we are getting personally revealing. Moose, what's going on with you?
Moose, are you okay?
Say, like, no.
Are you one of the 2% where Fortnite's causing divorce, Moose?
No, I don't play Fortnite. No, I'm just saying.
Spider-Man.
It's just like
Spider-Man's causing it.
It's like those memes that they put out there where it's like get your kids into magic or something. They'll never develop a drug addiction. It's like, yeah, because they'll have a video game or a collector cards game addiction or a nerd addiction, which is fine. Mm-hmm. I mean, it can be equally as debilitating, but definitely not as bad though. You know? Like drugs have like a way more a way different chemical effect on the brain and body. So
also, like, the immediate health effects are like further away in video games than they are in drugs or alcohol. But so we've already kind of started with what we're playing. So Corey played a bunch of Blackout. You play anything else, Corey?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's been like 2 weeks since I've been on, so...
Yeah, you were sick last week. Antonio was pissed.
I know. I've been trying to get him on the show for like 3 or 4 months, and the one show I'm not on, he's back. So, dang it. Oh, well. It was a good show, though. I listened to it today.
It was good. It was real quick. I didn't realize how short that show was.
Yeah, it was like almost under an hour. I'm like, wow, that's new for us. But
Corey saw the time. He's like, "How did they hog tie Matt?"
I thought the stream went out like halfway through the show. I'm like, what am I editing here? There's only like half a show here. Nope, no. But I tried the Battlefield 5 beta last week also, and
okay.
I don't know. I don't think it feels quite as good as Call of Duty, but that's just me. I did kind of realize that I knew what I was doing, though, because it feels just like Battlefront, the Star Wars Battlefront games. So, which, I mean, makes sense. It's DICE. But I've been playing that. I've been playing this game on Switch called Mini Metro, which is just like this. It's this $10 like subway simulator.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that. Yeah.
Where you just kind of it's real relaxing. You just kind of build subway tracks that connect cities together. It's not like a fantastic game or anything. It's just real fun to do. Is it like that
iOS game like Flight Path or whatever, where you're an air traffic controller? And you're just
it would be similar.
Kinda. Yeah, kinda. You just kind of like map out these subway tracks and get them to where they need to go. So I've been playing that, and then I've been playing a little bit more Dead Cells. Finally got to the first boss and died like immediately. So that was great.
Nice.
So that's kind of it. Oh, Spider-Man was the other game I've been playing. I was like, well, there's something else I've been playing. Spider-Man. That's a good game. But the first thing I did when I got to a place where I could finally do it, I went and got all the towers, went and got all the backpacks, and went and did all the landmark pictures. I literally just got to the first MJ mission.
Nice.
So, but I'm already 21% done with the game, so that's interesting. So
sweet.
I didn't realize how like easy the platinum would be to obtain. I think I'm going to try to do it.
Oh, it's real easy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Did you go to the top of Avengers Tower yet?
Yeah.
Yeah, just go sit up there and hang
That's
out.
a long freaking walk. Like, it really is.
Well, if you're running, it's not. Yeah, if you run, it's not that bad.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I know, but I'm just like, it just seems like that building is sarcastically tall.
Yeah, it is. It's obnoxiously tall.
Like,
but like when I like
in the movies, but.
like it's a group of people who want to keep their identities secret, yet they have the tallest building imaginable.
Yeah.
Mixed message, Tony Stark.
I do like the way like I jumped off the top of Avengers Tower and just did that like straight down dive that you can do. And right before you hit the pavement, you just hit the swing button, and it feels so good.
Yeah.
The sense of speed in that game is just like the momentum and like the way you can like use the triggers to snap yourself to a perch and then press X when you land to do like a flip over a building and then keep swinging across the city is just feels real good to play, man.
There's a perk later on that you can get, and I think the web slinger tree, which allow like when you hit, so like when you pull the triggers and you go to that point, when you land, if you hit X, he does like this super powerful jump and just propels himself forward. It's awesome.
Yeah.
So,
and then now after this first MJ mission, I'm gonna try to finish all of the like those crown logos on the map, like the
bases,
the base ones. So.
My recommendation is do those and get all the crime stopping out of the way. So like while you're in the districts, like just swing around and hit R3 and knock those out, because then later on you'll get like 10 per each district again of new factions, and you have to do all of those for a trophy, because that's you have to do those to get the one to complete the districts. And it's just I started that on like Friday. But anyways, yeah, it's not that hard of a plat. It's a little grindy, but the cool thing is like the gameplay is always fun. Like I found myself like playing it completely different on Saturday than I was on Sunday. Like I was being a lot more aggressive on Sunday, and not because I was trying to power through it, just because I just wanted to be, I was just throwing out more gadgets and just trying to do a lot more damage and whatnot. So.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like the swinging feels really good, but I don't really know how I feel about the combat yet. It feels, I don't know if I just haven't unlocked enough stuff to make it feel better, but I feel like I'm just really mashing square and pressing circle to dodge when the Spidey sense comes up. Although like I started using the triangle zip to an enemy move.
Do you see? So that might be a thing. Like, do you have the, I think you hold square and you'll launch a foe into the air. Do you have that one?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you have the one where you can yank, like if you jump, you can yank somebody into the air?
I don't think I have that one yet.
Yeah. See, like when you start adding that stuff, and not only that, but when you start unlocking, like, okay, you can pull a person's weapon away from them and swing it around and hit somebody with it, or you can web somebody and then you can swing them around. Like it adds to the, it definitely adds to the combat. So.
Okay.
So I highly recommend. Yeah, it'll get better. I think it's the best combat I've seen in like a superhero game.
I mean, it kind of feel like besides like the zipping towards enemies and stuff, which I mean, I guess it's kind of in this game too, but it kind of feels like a lighter version of Batman, like the Arkham games. So I don't know. I am enjoying that game. I'm enjoying it way more than I thought I was going to.
Which is good.
But
I remember you saying you were going to break down and buy it, and I was like, yeah.
I wasn't going to get it. Like, but then I saw people playing it online. I'm like, man, that swinging looks awful fun.
It really is.
So, yeah. So I'm trying to beat this game so I can move on to Shadow of the Tomb Raider, because that's the game I've been waiting for this whole year, and I got distracted by Spider-Man. So, but that's kind of all I've been playing though.
Cool.
Blackout's really good, by the way.
Moose,
I don't know if we discussed that on the show yet. It's really good.
I have been playing a crap ton of Spider-Man. In fact, I platinumed it at midnight last night.
Congratulations.
Thank you. 25th platinum. Knocked it out of the park. It was going to be Cosmic Star Heroine, but I was like moving like a freight train towards the end of Spider-Man. Fantastic story. Fantastic combat. I like Spider-Man's combat more than Batman's. Now, my caveat to that statement is I've only played Arkham Knight and a little bit of the first one. So I don't. Yeah, Jason Marshall's in the chat. Yes, I'm the last person to platinum Spider-Man in our group, the NGP group. Ha! All right.
Well, Glasson beat you to it?
Yeah, Jeff beat me to it. But anyways, so I think it's better than Batman's because you have like multiple ways of taking down enemies. Like if Batman's combat's like, hey, I mean, I discussed it on the last show. Like this guy, the shield guy, you can only take him down with this one move, and that's it. Like nothing else. But like the shield guys in Spider-Man, you can yank the shield away from them. You can yank the shield. You can yank them up into the air with you to attack them and knock people into them, to knock them off their feet, and then just attack them on the ground. I feel the best place for you to fight in Spider-Man's in the air. Like that's the best place to do your damage, especially with like your swing moves. Because like you'll get like Corey, you'll add moves like later on, like I was saying, when you jump in the air and you hold down triangle, you'll yank the closest target into the air with you, and then you just launch into a combo. And then at the end of the combo, you can also hold triangle again, and you'll grab them and swing them, and then slam them into somebody on the ground. So you can like use them to knock out another enemy while you go and like focus on another one. Like I feel it's so much more faster than Batman and more fluid. It does kind of get annoying. Like I feel the brutes are just a pain in the ass. Like they don't even like behave. Like I was thinking about the other day, and then I was watching someone's, I think gaming culture or whatever. I was watching their video on like the 14 things you should know about Spider-Man, and he kept remarking on the brutes and was just like how the brutes don't obey the law of physics, and they just keep like hitting you. Like they don't even have enough. It's like not even enough time for them to bring their arm back to hit you yet. They're just like bam, 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 and it's like they hit so hard. They're just annoying as hell. Like as soon as I see them, I try and do a sneak takeout. Like if I come up on a crime stopping thing or whatever, I'll look down, and if I see the brutes, like they're the ones I attack first before I take on the crowd. But Platinum was fun. I thought the story was amazing. By far, this is my game of the year over everything else. Even Dead Cells. I love Dead Cells gameplay, but I loved Spider-Man's story. Really, really enjoying it. And
I feel like Spider-Man's pretty high for me too, especially because like I went from not really caring about this game at all, really, because like I don't really care about Spider-Man. I don't care about, superhero stuff all that much. I mean, there's a select few that I will go out of my way to watch or play or whatever, but like Spider-Man's not one of them. And just by sheer surprise and polish, like that game is pretty high for me.
Yeah. I do want to go back and platinum God of War at some time, but
yeah, I need to go back to God of War's New Game Plus mode because I feel like I don't know. I just feel like I didn't give that game the fair shake, and like just being distracted by a few other things while I was playing that game was not the way to play that game.
Yeah, and they're doing they were saying that it's a lot different in New Game Plus for God of War. Not a lot, but they've added additional stuff. It's not just here's you can play through the game with all your power-ups. They actually give you like cooler armor to unlock later on and whatnot. So that'd be another reason for me to jump in. I'm looking forward to doing New Game Plus with Spider-Man. I'm looking forward to the DLC. I loved Insomniac Games' approach to the characters. It was cool how they did some of the stories for some of the characters that are staples in the Spider-Man universe. Mm-hmm. It was just really, really awesome, and I'm already like pumped for a sequel. I'll buy that day one. Like, and
I hear they tease at the end of the game.
Yes, they do. There's multiple credit scenes. So like I hit the end of the game and just put my controller down, and I was glad I did. But
well, it is Marvel. So.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I was like. I was sitting there, and I'm like, because it comes up with the option to skip, and I'm like, should I skip? And I'm like, nah. And I just put it down and just sat there and let the credits roll. And but yeah, I am just thoroughly impressed with what they did on their first game out of the gate that isn't necessarily a Ratchet and Clank game. You know, like I think they did really, really well with it. And their combat, I mean, can it be improved? Yes. I had times where I was like trying to pull a certain enemy into the air and it like locked onto another enemy that wouldn't allow me to pull him into the air. And I'm like, that's not who I'm trying to hit. Or I'll hit the R1 button to like Spidey web a dude that's shooting me way in the back, and it's shooting at the guy that's closest to me. So it's almost like
the combat. The combat feels that in that way with like the web shooters and stuff. It feels very Sunset Overdrive. I know you guys didn't play it because it was only on Xbox, but like I remember in Sunset Overdrive, it had this weird kind of funky lock-on thing where like it didn't necessarily get to where you needed to lock onto, but it does give me Sunset vibes a little bit.
Cool.
Which I hope. Part of me hopes that like I know Microsoft published that game, but I hope that that game can somehow make it to other platforms because that game is. It's just sad that game is locked to like a launch Xbox One lineup to the point where nobody really cares about that game anymore. Like
maybe
the hype around it or anything. Yeah,
I could see him doing a sequel.
Well, that's the one thing is like Insomniac owns the IP, so they just have to find a publisher for it. But
I mean, they could also self-publish it or do like after a while, if Microsoft is like, you know, like with Mass Effect, they're just like whatever. Like, you know, Insomniac can work with people to get like, hey, we're putting out Sunset Overdrive 2. By the way, here's a remaster, or not even a remaster, but an updated version.
Or like do what you know South Park did, where like, hey, we're putting out a sequel to this, but you can digitally download the first one.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's mainly what I've been playing to get that platinum. Moving on to Doom and then probably Final Fantasy 15.
Yeah, Doom. Woo!
Yeah, I had a lot of fun with Doom while I was waiting for Spider-Man to unlock. And then when Spider-Man unlocked, I just never... That was the only thing I played. It's the only thing I've been playing since, not this past Friday, but the Friday before. So, yeah. Matt, what have you been playing?
Played a few things. More Dead Cells, of course. I beat the clock timekeeper guy.
Nice.
Congratulations. I beat him on Switch. I had gotten to him like 3 or 4 times in the past week. And as I got home from work last night, Reba was watching a show, so I played my Switch. And I beat it sitting next to her, and she's always there. Like when I'm having trouble with something, and she's always present when I beat it. And I almost think like she's like super good luck. So as long as she's willing to sit there while I play video games, she could be on her iPad.
Keep that victory train rolling.
She could be on her iPad, whatever. It's fine. But yeah, I beat the timekeeper. Felt real good about it.
Nice.
And
Congratulations.
I got to the high castle, and then I got severely overwhelmed. Not quickly, but it was just like, because I mean, that's the thing about roguelikes. When you've not been to an area, you have to sort of probe around to make sure you sort of see how everything's going to come at you. Yeah. And Dead Cells is still finding ways to surprise me. God bless it. As I said before, I had to stay up all night to try and adjust my sleep schedule. I played Spider-Man for like 14 hours.
What do you think of it? Are you liking it?
I'm not any more enamored by it than I was last week, but I will say this: the gameplay's fun. So I'm okay, you know, putting time into it, because if I didn't have fun swinging around New York, if I didn't have fun approaching the crime stopping or the bases, or I mean, I could take or leave the story at this point. I will say this: I like the way their approach. I like the way that they handle the actual villain in the game. And it's one of those things that if you are even remotely familiar with Spider-Man, you figure out who the villain is early on. But the fact that I, you know, sort of know who it is, and then you watch that transformation, and the fact that they kind of get you on side for a bit of it, you're like, okay, all right, it's a good storytelling technique. I really like Miles Morales. Like, that kid's okay. I kind of hope that, like,
I hear he's gonna do great things someday.
Yeah, I really hope that, like, he gets a chance to, fully realize himself in video game form without fucking dumbasses doing what they do when characters change. Because the way that they set it, the way that they handle his story, the way they handle introducing him, and the way they handle him just sort of being a victim of some trauma, we'll call it.
Mm-hmm.
It is handled with pretty decent weight, and everybody that's sort of around him at the time things happen, they're like, okay, well, we want you to do what you want to do, we want you to do what you think. And I really dig that. I think the interactions between Spider-Man and Mary Jane are handled really well. I really like the way that they approach storytelling from another character's point of view, specifically Morales and MJ. And, and we made reference to it last week about how some people can say, oh, they just slow everything down. I'm like, and yes, they do, but also it's like you also have to remember you are playing a different thing. Like, you can't zip around the game like Spider-Man when you're playing as MJ. So you have to think a little differently. I don't know why this is hard. But I think that everything in that game is handled really well, but I think this will probably be higher on my Game of the Year list than I think it'll end up being higher on my Game of the Year list than I think it should be right now, because I'm doing it right now, so I could just throw an army of cynicism at it and knock it down. But it is a fucking good game, and we were talking about, like, Corey brought up how it's an easy platinum. I like the way this trophy list is formatted. Not because it's like, oh, you have your collection stuff, you have your combat stuff, you have your challenge stuff. Mm-hmm. The reason I like it is because the game is designed well enough that it gives you it lays on chunks of it at a time, rather than saying, okay, go do everything now. Yeah. Because, like Corey, when I was set loose in New York, I'm like, I'm swinging around. Oh, there's all this stuff all around. Okay, I need to go around the area anyway. I will unlock towers and I will have a blast doing it. Oh, backpacks, do all them. Fine. Did all the crime stopping I could, that popped up in my travels. Mm-hmm. I mean, and I was like a level 15 before I really did a mission. And
you can level up pretty quickly in the game.
Yeah, I'm like a level 11 right now, and I'm just getting to the first MJ mission. So
like I did all the photography, all of the, and that stuff was just fun. And then when they layered on, when you get the Black Cat stuff later on in the game, the Taskmaster stuff after that, like instead of throwing all of that out at once and overwhelming you, it's like, okay, you've learned how to get around, you've learned some mechanics, we're going to integrate that into this side thing, but you have a choice whether or not you want to do it. Now, because I like platinums, I will do it. And if that was not fun, I'd have some shit to say. But because that game is designed so well, all of that stuff is fun. And I'll say it right now, everybody loving Spider-Man that slept on Ratchet and Clank, do yourself a favor, go play it.
I second that too. Ratchet and Clank is awesome.
I mean,
it's a lot of fun. Like, it's a lot of fun.
Not just not just the PS4 one, but like the entire series.
Yeah.
It's such a good series of games. Other than that, I played The Messenger. That game's not good.
Well, you were saying the combat, it's all right, it's nostalgic, but it's not challenging.
Like it is, like
I said, I think.
I feel like that game is what people who don't like indie games think indie games are. Like, for example, I've been in communities where people will be like, "Oh, I'm so sick of this pixel art looking like a 16-bit. Like, I'm not going to play games with pixel art in them. I'm sick of it. Do real art." I'm like, well, it's called pixel art, so
yeah, don't play the game if you don't want to.
But like a lot of the time there is the stigma is kind of correct in that a lot of indie games are pixel art games with simple mechanics. That doesn't make all indie games good. And the Messenger is a game that was clearly started 2.5 decades ago, and clearly not iterated on in the 2.5 decades since. Except, or at least the combat for sure, because it is very early Ninja Gaiden. It is very, running across the screen, jump. One hit to kill this, one hit to kill that. I think the one thing that is actually all right in it is the dialogue, because it's pretty self-aware. And I also like when you die, there's this little, I forget what he is, but he's like a demon. He follows you around after you die, and every piece of currency you get, he gets to eat until you have paid off your debt. So like you die early on in the level, and you're not gaining currency to buy upgrades when the time comes, because he's eating all the money you earn, or at least for a time being. And it's always like, oh, don't worry, I'm keeping good notes on how much you owe, and when you're done paying off, I'll leave. Yeah, it never really tells you. I didn't play it long enough to really go into to really try and figure it out. The game, it didn't get fun for me ever.
I'll wait for a sale then.
Yeah, I mean, I would definitely say wait for a sale, and I think it also suffers from coming out right now.
Yeah,
not because of Spider-Man, but because of Death's Gambit, Chasm, Dead Cells, Salt and Sanctuary, Guacamelee 2, all these other games that came out that are basically just like it and better. So that sucks. I played more Into the Breach. Yeah, that game is really, really good.
Cool.
It's frustrating in a good way. It's kind of frustrating in a similar fashion of Dark Souls. And I think that's it. I don't think I played anything else. Yeah, I didn't. How you guys doing?
Great.
Cool.
Hanging out.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Corey, you brought some listener questions.
I did. I went into the Facebook group and asked for some, and I also had some saved up I was going to bring them last week, but clearly I wasn't on the show. I guess I could have just forwarded them to you, but man.
We had a good time with Antonio anyways. It was good just catching up with him and talking about Spider-Man and whatnot. So
yeah.
It worked out.
And we talked a lot about butt cheeks that episode too.
Well, his were quivering, so
yeah.
Must have been
specifically his left one.
Yes.
Quivering cheeks.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, so do you want me just to read the first one? Is that what you want to do?
Yeah.
Sure.
Just go right into them.
Yeah.
All right. Well, our first one comes from listener Mark Steiner. He says, "Hey, nerds, got a question for you. What do you believe your biggest strengths are in your roles on Nerds Gone Rogue as a whole, and why do you think the show has lasted this long?"
I can answer the last one for sure. It's because none of us has said I quit.
Yeah. I was going to say the same thing. We just enjoy chatting with each other and talking about games and just sitting around. So as long as we keep doing that, you know.
Yeah.
And I mean, and I'll answer the first part too. I really think our biggest strength is having Corey here because he does the.
Now, was that in general or was that for each of us? Like what? Well,
it's in general. But let's be real, Moose. Let's be real. Corey does the lion's share around here.
Oh no, that's true. Like he does the videos, does the hosting, does the promoting. Like, yeah, he does a lot of it.
I don't know why he keeps us around. I really don't.
Probably so he doesn't have to listen to himself talk for like 3 hours. I think
nobody wants to listen to me. Nobody wants to listen to me for like 5 different shows. No.
Yeah.
I'm like for me, I feel like the speaking part of this whole thing is not my biggest strength. I feel like the back end stuff is the stuff that I feel like I'm better at than this stuff, but I don't know. That's just me. I don't know. Maybe I'm not good at any of it. I just
looking inward. I don't know. I don't know if I have a strength. I really don't. I mean, I can talk a lot.
But let's see. Like Matt, I think you could talk to anybody and it'll talk back.
See,
that's
the thing. I think Matt is the chaos, and you and I are kind of like the reining it back in. Plus, like, all right, let's keep this. Although, in Matt's defense, lately, and also, even before you were going to have your kid, he was doing a good job of keeping us streamlined, and not having it go into like 4 hours and then we have to do 20 questions or something, trying to keep it, in the same, on a nice path to the end stop of the train that is the episode of the week for NGR. So I think he does a good job of that, and I agree with you. He can talk to anybody, about anything, which is good. You want that because you could be bringing on a host, or I mean not a host, but a guest, and it might not have anything to do with what he has an interest in, but he can still find something to talk to that person about. So.
Yeah, I mean, how many episodes have there been that we maybe haven't even talked about games because somebody's drinking a new beer or somebody's bought some kind of new hip music that Matt likes to listen to or something like.
Somebody's bought some new hip music that Matt really do.
I don't know. So that I mean,
shout out to the Shins, by the way.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. I feel like all this just kind of like melds together and just kind of happens, and for some god awful reason, too many people listen to this show, so we just have to keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Just gotta keep We're here for the listeners.
Yeah.
But I mean, in all honesty, like the last 2 weeks. First of all, for a tangent before we go on to our next question, WordPress really just gave me the biggest fist ever. Like they just shoved it right up in there by our
opened up.
Kind of had to. I just had to take it like a
man,
like a guy in the biz, as they say.
Alrighty then.
Okay.
And like I've been like our website got really, really, really messed up, which I've been meaning to kind of edit our website in general anyways, but this kind of forced me to do it in a way where I didn't really want to do it. So I've been the last 2 weeks alone, I've probably put like 20 hours into our website and it's still not done because it's just all kinds of messed up.
Maybe we should move it.
I thought about it, but that would mean I'd have to learn how to do this again somewhere else. And I don't know if it happens again, we're moving it. But for now, I think our website looks all right for now. Actually, I think it looks better than it did. So But I mean, I still gotta put a lot of the back catalog of Nerds Gone Rogue on there, but Nerds Gone Rogue and B-sides are all on there, so I mean that's really all that matters, I guess. So, but I mean, I gotta work on getting the other shows on there and our Let's Plays, and Jason said he was gonna help me out with the PlayStation stuff, so I don't really need to worry about that all that much. But yeah. But anyways, what's Muth's biggest strength? We didn't really talk about that.
I don't have one.
I mean, they're all the same level.
I'm just here to party.
He doesn't have a biggest strength. He's just
his biggest strength.
Several strengths that are all top tier, all consistently amazing. And
he's like when you go into sports games. Moose is like when you go into sports games and you put all of the stat trees all the way up to 99.
Mm-hmm.
That's Moose.
Yeah, that's except for endurance.
Yeah, it's at like a 40.
I hear that.
He gets subbed out every other play because he's too tired.
I've been on episodes that have been sub 2 hours, and you are just dead an hour and a half in because you've either had a rough day or you're drunk. You don't,
or both, or both,
or both. Yeah.
Especially like the latter end of some 20 questions.
Oh man, he's just like, just end it.
I know.
That's true.
Especially before we implemented all the new rules, he's just
oh my god.
Especially if it's his game. If it was his game, it was even worse.
I remember one time when there was like 6 of us on here, and he was like, I forget who it was, that he was just getting really mad at them because they weren't asking a question. He was just like, just ask a question. I want to go to bed.
Yeah.
Well, it was rough because it didn't. Maybe that's what I bring is a little bit of order, because like streamlining the 20, trying to get those.
Moose is the lawful good of Nerds Gone Rogue.
I'm like, I'd be like, what are we doing? I think it was the roughest when it was like you, me, Lisa, and Ray were on. And it just kept going and going. And Ray was like on his phone and not paying attention. And she was just like really, really tired. And I was really tired. And we could not make any progress. Yeah. So, but anyways, we've tightened it up. So,
yeah. I'm glad that those folks still come on every so often. But like, I feel like we've spent 113 episodes really getting ourselves in order.
Yeah, we're almost there.
Yeah, I mean, maybe by maybe in 87 episodes we'll be, a nice tight ship that will, finally be able to be graced by Matt Phillips once again, because that dude won't come on.
He's in the chat.
Yeah, I know he's in the chat.
He's watching. Yeah.
There's a lot of people in the chat that won't come on either. Like,
I know. We should get Deshaun on.
Like Deshaun.
Yeah.
Always chatting. Never.
Which we appreciate.
Never on video. Is it because we're all white? Is that the thing?
Yeah. Him and Benny from the Bay. That would be cool.
Yeah, that would be fun. Do you like a listeners episode?
Let's move on to Jameson Perez. Hey, Brew Nerds. Just picked up a Switch for myself after my wife and kids have hogged the main system and was looking for some recommendations on some great indies.
N++ and Shovel Knight. Just going to throw those out there.
Those are good.
Those are good. That's 2.
Question.
Oh, we got Mike M. Garcia back in the chat.
What's
Welcome
up,
back,
M. Garcia? Corey, you might be able to speak to this. Can you buy like a complete version, or did they
Shovel Knight?
Yeah, or did they slice it up?
You can buy each campaign separately for $10 or the complete package, including the 2 expansions that aren't out yet, for $24.99. So you're saving. So you're saving $25 by buying the complete package.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Shovel Knight's a great campaign. Plague Knight is a good campaign, and Spectre Knight is the best campaign they put out.
Okay.
Plus, King of Cards, what I played at PAX, was really good.
There's the next one, right?
Yeah, and they're adding a collectible card game, which is the King of Cards card game, and then they're adding a Smash Brothers mode where
that's
you
what
get
I was going to say. Yeah,
I think it's called Showdown, Shovel Knight Showdown.
Yeah,
and like you don't just get to play as like the knights that you play through in the campaign. Like Black Knight is in it, Shield Knight's in it, Enchantress is in it. Like you can play as all the knights.
Yeah,
So,
that'll be nice.
Cool.
yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, those are some good recommendations. N++ looks good. I just need to bite the bullet and pick it up.
4,139 levels. Moose, chop chop.
I know. I gotta get through it.
Other indies like Into the Breach
Dead Cells
came out this year. Dead Cells.
Hyperlight
Phillips is in the chat with Hollow Knight and Darkest Dungeon.
Yeah,
Hyperlight Drifter's out on Switch now.
Binding of Isaac.
Drifter. You said the end is nigh, right?
No, I was just about to.
Oh, end is nigh. Binding
Super
of
Meat Boy?
Isaac. One of our
Super
personal
Meat Boy.
favorites, Earth Atlantis. Earth Atlantis is a lot of fun.
There's a ton out there.
Enter
if you're into
Enter the Gungeon, yeah, for sure.
No, Phillips, it's not on Switch.
if
Oh,
you're into Mega Man style game, Mighty Gunvolt Burst,
Mighty
Super
Gunvolt
game.
Burst, yeah, it's really good.
Mm-hmm.
Axiom Verge is on Switch now. Blossom Tales, if you're looking for a Link to the Past clone.
Bleed.
Steamboat Dig.
Shooter.
Celeste, if you're into
Oh yeah,
hardcore
Celeste, Jesus.
Mr.
Iconic-
and if you're into platformers, Lightfall. I can't push this game enough. Lightfall is fantastic.
I don't know.
Coming soon, Bastion Transistor.
Bastion's out already.
Oh, is it? Oh,
Undertale.
yeah, Undertale's really good.
That's also really good. I mean, there's just so.
Like honestly, if you own a Switch, you play it for the main Nintendo games and indies.
Mm-hmm.
South
Park comes out next week, though.
I would suggest. I mean, me personally, I would just not do third party stuff like the big third party publishers on Nintendo at all. At this point, fuck third party support because the indies they've got coming out there are amazing.
Dude, this one's really.
There's some exceptions for third party, though.
I'm not saying there's not.
No, I think like FIFA is really good on Switch.
Oh
and
yeah,
FIFA's really good on Switch. I think the South Park games are great on Switch.
Okay.
I would not particularly like. It's a cool novelty, but I wouldn't particularly buy Doom on Switch or Wolfenstein. Like they're a cool little novelty, and I picked them up because I run the Nintendo channel. And if you haven't subscribed to that, you should go check it out.
Yeah,
it's Nintendo Pal Block. Subscribe, share, download the podcast.
If our list was, or if us just shouting out indie titles didn't really do it for you, definitely check out Brant's Nindy Nation.
Mm-hmm.
They just did an episode of the top 10 Nindies on Switch right now.
And I would actually look into Switch Talk too, just because he talks about Antonio and the guys talk about indies there too.
I did want to say stuff
as well as Pal Block. You guys actually cover a big swath of indies.
Yeah, they do. They have to. They're Nintendo based.
I mean, like that's kind of like our main thing now is like Nintendo first party and indies, and like one of the biggest indies like that I'm looking forward to now is Oddworld Stranger's Wrath is coming very soon.
Hell yes.
Which like if you don't have an original Xbox or a PS3. Or a Vita, I guess you can't play that game. That game, it's like the Wind Waker of Oddworld games because like it's stuck on platforms that like either people didn't have like buy a lot of, or like it didn't get a lot of press, or like it's just stuck on a platform that you can't. It's not backwards compatible or anything. Like now that's coming to Switch. Like that game, it's great.
I'm looking forward to playing it.
I think it's coming to the other two platforms as well, though. So,
yeah. Which is fine.
Yeah,
which is fine.
Yeah, the game's real pretty.
So Deshaun Malone, speaking of which, he said he just picked up Spider-Man, and he thinks it's great, but he's also concerned for some of PlayStation's future exclusive, mainly Dreams, Days Gone, Death Stranding. What are our thoughts on these future exclusives and others? Death Stranding needs to finally become a game at some point.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people, when they showed that game off, I think a lot of people were disappointed that it was basically just environments and what's-his-face climbing a mountain.
Yeah.
Like they didn't really show a lot of gameplay until the end, and they just showed some stuff, but like I think people who came away disappointed were like, huh.
What the hell is this?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
I
don't
know. I think the biggest concern out of the ones you listed is Dreams. Like, what the heck is that?
Dreams like at this point, Dreams has to be at this point, at this late in the PS4 life cycle. If PS5 is really coming out in 2020 or whatever, like that game needs to be pushed so it can have the whole lifespan of the console to have stuff.
Yeah.
Unless PS5 is backwards compatible, like that just needs it.
Problem. Like I could also see them coming out and being like, we're pushing it to the PS5 or whatever, but then that would almost like, I would feel they would kill it more likely than push it. It's like you said, it's got to be pushed to come out like next year. Like it's got to come out in 2019. Like it has to. Ghost of Tsushima is going to be awesome. I have a feeling that'll come out probably in the summer or fall of next year, simply because they already have Days Gone coming out in the spring, which I don't know. Like, I can see why they're focusing on the games that are out now, because I mean they had God of War this year, they had Spider-Man, they had Detroit. They've got a lot of really good games out this year, so it's kind of like we want to focus on those because they're doing really well and they're selling, but you're not really hearing a lot of noise of Days Gone. Like Days Gone has gone quiet again, because like it was like, oh hey, here's our game, we'll show it at E3.
I wonder if they're going to show it at PSX if it's coming out in February.
They probably will. Yeah, they probably will.
They have to. And like, I feel so bad that was like the only PlayStation exclusive that didn't get its main like little 15-minute segment. Because like Last of Us, Death Stranding, Ghosts, and Spider-Man all got their showing at E3. And like, you're just going to leave Days Gone out to dry. Like, yeah,
they should have gave it some more time, but like you said, I think they also have Tokyo Game Shows now, isn't it? Currently coming up soon.
Well, it was last weekend. Like they didn't show any of it. They just announced a bunch of Final Fantasy ports.
Sucks.
Which is great. I'm actually excited for like 12 and 9 on Switch, but
which will be nice. Yeah. But I hope they go back to the way they used to do PSX. But anyways, so like some of them I'm concerned about and some of them I'm not. Like Ghost of Tsushima, not concerned about. Days Gone is kind of like on the fence. Like whether it's
Days Gone, bad. Days Gone has to separate itself from The Last of Us.
Yes, it does.
That's what we need to find out. We need to find out why because here's the thing: if you just want to say you have two zombie games, one of them is a sequel to a landmark in video game history, in Last of Us 2, and the other one is a new IP from the people who did Siphon Filter.
Yeah.
I mean, like I think we were talking about this prior to the show. Like in video games, it's almost guaranteed that if the first game in a series was good, the sequel is always the best. Mm-hmm. So by that logic alone, you're led to Last of Us 2.
Yeah, right.
Now I just think that the messaging, like, it sucks that Days Gone finally came into the eye of Sony fans and the gaming public writ large. But right after that, Last of Us 2 was announced. So, like, we need to figure out what's different about this game versus Last of Us. That's the problem with Days Gone. Dreams, I've heard a lot of people talk about playing Dreams and have very positive things to say about it. However, no matter how many times I hear people talk about it, no matter how much they say, I still don't know what Dreams is.
Right. I agree.
I'm not going to say that its Media Molecule is currently incubating a turd of a game. I just think that they're so focused on user creation that they don't know how to message. and that's fine because I think once they get that thing releasable, they'll be able to say, okay, here's the bullet points. Because if you start saying, well, here's what we want to do, then you end up in that no man's sky territory of possibly saying or projecting too much into it, and then if it's not there, everyone's going to say you lied.
I agree.
But I think all of them will be at the very least good games for the people who play them. I'm not a Kojima fan. Actually, change that. I'm not a Metal Gear Solid fan. I mean, you can't not respect what Kojima has done for this industry.
Matt's a Zone of the Enders guy.
Hell yes, I am.
Dude,
You damn right I am.
Saturn was good too. Sega CD, I think it was on Sega CD. That's a good game.
Zone of the Enders needs to come. Dude, Kojima, you have a great IP right there.
They're doing a remaster. You know that, right?
Do more of them.
I know. I'm understanding of that, but they're doing it because of the VR. But then it looks like the VR didn't do too well review wise. But I think there's supposed to be a regular version of it too.
Hope so.
Yeah.
But yeah, those games will all be, the fan bases that want them will probably like them, and I think they will probably all review relatively favorably. Just because those studios, they aren't in the business of putting out trash.
Yeah.
And then the lead man at Nerds Gone Platinum has a question, gentlemen.
Yeah.
What bad game do you secretly like?
None.
I mean, if I like a game, I usually don't keep it a secret.
Yeah, and I don't like bad games, like overall like games that I don't like or that are trash. I just stopped playing them. I don't really have. I was trying to think of like an answer for that on my way home, because like Corey sent the questions ahead of time, to get us a little bit prepared, and I was like, I don't know any games that I feel are bad that I love, So.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I like the first game that came to my head was The Bouncer, but that's not really like a bad game. It's just an all right PlayStation 2 launch game,
Yeah.
So.
I mean, I've gone on record as liking games like Bush League Hockey, and that is a bad hockey game. I've liked Wu-Tang Shaolin style on the PS1, and that's probably not a great game. It probably hasn't aged very well.
I think Phillips puts it best. I love bad movies. I don't really like bad games.
Yeah, because I think if a game is bad, that means the interaction with it is bad.
Yeah, and then you're just like, I don't want to play this anymore. I'm gone. Whereas if it's a bad movie, all you're doing is just watching it. But if it's so bad to the point where it's campy or you can find a humor in it, you'll just laugh at it and watch, and laugh at it while you're watching it, and you can get enjoyment out of that. But if a game is bad, you're just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
You're just like, why am I doing this?
Right. I got too much other stuff to play. I've got too much, to platinum, too much to play. I got other stuff going on.
I have platinumed some terrible games.
It's because that's true.
I mean, I have platinumed some terrible games, but I don't like those. Like I mean, you've got one that you've gotten 2 platinums in recently, right? The Little Adventure on the Prairie or whatever?
Nope, I haven't gotten the platinum yet.
Oh, you haven't gotten the platinum?
Because I wanted to get Cosmic Star Heroine as my 25th platinum. So I just got the games to get trophies to win that.
To beat Jason.
Yeah, guess what he's doing? Shapescape 2018. That's what he's doing. He's playing, or Sound Shapes. It's Soundshapes Gate 2018.
Jesus. Oh,
he's playing that, and then I think he's gonna
sync it, so he gets he'll get 500 trophies.
Yeah, I was like, you'll triple the amount of trophies you get on the Vita because he's playing it on Vita. But anyways, I mean, I had him beat until I don't know recently. He's probably playing it tonight, so there's no way I can. I had 32 this week, and I think he had 20 something.
Yeah, I Orc Slayer is a game I do not like, and I hated playing, but I got the platinum because I thought it was going to be like a 2-hour platinum. It took me like 7 hours because that thing is broke as hell. But yeah, that I don't secretly like those. I secretly hate, or I very publicly hate them.
Yeah, it's not like it's a bad game and you're like, oh, like it's really funny like playing this game. You're like, no, this is a bad game. Get out of here.
Yeah.
You know?
I mean, because at least Bush League Hockey had like there's some heart in that game. And I feel like they could go somewhere with that property. So hopefully that has the chance to happen. Either you have any more to say on this question?
No. I'm trying to go through some like digital stuff that I have downloaded and see if there's anything bad. I mean, like, I guess I don't know. I don't think Mass Effect 3 was a bad game, but people hated the ending. Like, I don't think that really counts as like, I mean, Mass Effect Andromeda. I don't really think that was that bad either. And it was a good Mass Effect game. It wasn't the best one, but like, but I also played it after the updates and the patches and stuff. So I don't know.
I guess you could. I guess like, and it's not even a bad game. Like it was a bad game, like Battlefield 4. Like it was glitchy as hell. It wasn't bad because the gameplay was bad. It was just bad technically. And then they fixed it on the current gen consoles and kind of left the last gen in the dust. But I think that's the one thing about games is like you can fix it. Phillips is in the chat talking about Murder Soul Suspect. It had a lot of issues, but he'd give it a 6, out of 10, and he still enjoyed it. And like that's kind of me with Mafia 3. Now, to be honest, Mafia 3 had a great story, great soundtrack. They did improve. I
don't think a lot of people say that's a bad game though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like it's not a bad game, but some people would say like it's glitchy as hell. It's it's got repetitiveness out the wazoo. It's lacking a fast travel system. Like there's a lot of things that go against it. I'm not saying that they say it's a bad game. It's just not the best game. So there's a game that I really enjoyed. That could be considered a medium game. A decent game that I liked. So yeah.
I mean, I remember when I first started listening to video game podcasts, I listened to GameSpot, and Damon was talking about how he gave apparently he opens the show with like, I reviewed Lords of Shadow last night, and apparently I thought that game was the worst game ever. How dare I give that game a 7.5? Like, and I guess because he had received a ton of community feedback, like, how can you only give this game a 7.5? So I mean, it really turns into your definition of bad.
Yeah.
Like, for example, a lot of people thought No Man's Sky on release was a bad game specifically because it didn't have what they wanted it to have in it.
See, that's true. It's true.
Whereas I thought No Man's Sky was very good at what it did. It was like my 5th favorite game that year. It's still a game I hold near and dear to my heart. I cannot wait to actually play the new stuff in it. But that game is not bad, and I challenge anyone that says it is to fuck off.
Yeah. Middle fingers for everybody. Woo!
Woo! Okay, so on Facebook,
everybody gets 2.
Jesse Douglas, with the confirmation from Matt Booty. I laughed. I'm sorry. I don't know who Matt Booty is.
He's like a lead at Microsoft for Xbox. I think he's in charge of like console development.
Okay.
And first party stuff.
Xbox/Microsoft will be buying more game developers. What is one developer or studio you can see them picking up?
None.
I don't.
Probably like some more indies. So like I could see them getting the Cuphead studio.
Yeah, I could see them getting them, and like I think they've been trying to acquire Moon Studio for a while too, the developer behind Ori.
Yeah,
that would be smart of them.
I know
it would suck, but Behemoth.
Yeah, it would. I thought don't they own Behemoth? I thought they did.
No, Behemoth got in bed with them, unless they bought them and I was unaware of it. But Behemoth got in bed with them with, I want to say Castle Crashers, but then they just. I mean, I wish they didn't stay exclusive.
When is Pit People coming out?
It's already out.
Is it?
It's like an 8.
It got
like
like
7.5 and 8.
It got like no fanfare.
No,
Right.
it got nothing. Like I remember,
Right.
I remember Brad from Giant Bomb was talking about playing. He's like, "Yeah, I played it. It's not great."
Yeah, I think like they were trying to do.
I think it came out the same time as Into the Breach did.
Might have. I feel like Battle Block Theater was at the end of the life cycle of the 360, so it didn't get as big of a fanfare. I think the problem is also like people were expecting more Castle Crashers, and I'm one of those people as well. Like I loved Castle Crashers. I played the hell out of that game, the hell out of it, and then was looking forward to Battle Block Theater, and then it came out, and I was kind of like, eh. Like I enjoyed what I played of it, but it just wasn't lightning in a bottle again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and so, and then like it stayed on. Everything was staying on Xbox, and then when I moved away from Xbox, I still kept my ear to the ground as far as like what's going on with Pit People because I like Behemoth. It's just they're not doing they're not putting any games out on the PS4 for me to play. So it's like I'm good.
Yeah, I don't really know who they would buy unless they would try to acquire a studio from another publisher.
That's true too.
I mean they've acquired the two of the biggest names out there in Ninja Theory and Playground. I really don't know who they would try to get.
Yeah, what does Playground do again? Sorry,
Forza Horizon 4, which I played the demo for that also, and that game is, that's a good racing game.
Here's the thing. If Sony buys a studio, I'm okay with it. It's not just because I own a PS4, but like I feel like they give the studio time. And when Microsoft buys a studio, I feel like all I hear about them doing is shutting studios down. And before people, do that knee-jerk response, well, Sony has shut down more studios over time than Microsoft has. Yeah, but I don't think so lately.
Yeah, I mean, Microsoft hasn't really shut anybody down lately either.
They haven't, but I'm just saying, like,
I think the Lionhead closure really hit a lot of people hard.
Yeah.
Because of Fable and what that franchise means to a lot of people, and like, it sucks. And the thing is like the old Microsoft. That was at a point where old Microsoft regime was ending and the new regime was coming up, and it's like, well, that old regime made this team do this project that forced them to lose money, and now it sucks. Like it really does,
Yeah.
And I hope they kind of realize that, which I think they do. I think they've kind of restructured that team that is kind of like in charge of all that, and they're kind of like looking at their stuff in a different direction. And Playground I think was a good get. I think Ninja Theory was a strong get, and opening a new studio with the initiative, I think they are taking notes from Sony and being like, look how successful they are. Look what they're doing. They're allowing their teams to make games and take their time, right? And they were doing this thing where, like, we're building at studios for specific games. Well, yeah, it works for Halo and Gears, but when you have a studio that's working on Fable, a IP that won't sell nearly as much as Gears or Halo, like you can't do that, right? You just can't. And you know, they have 3 studios that only make one game, right? And Sony doesn't have that, right? They allow their teams to be creative and do what they want to do. You know, who would have thought that in we would have gotten a decent reboot of God of War, right? Like in a different direction, or you know, Guerrilla moving from Killzone to Horizon, right? Like,
yep.
Microsoft is finding their way into doing that, and which is why I think like Gears is taking a new direction. Halo's kind of taking this different direction. Playground has opened a second studio to make an open world game instead of a racing game, right? Like, I think they're seeing why Sony is successful, and they're going to try to mimic that a little bit. And you know, I think that's what's exciting for Xbox players. But it's just hard when you build a studio, because game development's so different than it was even 6-7 years ago when the Xbox 360 was on top. Yeah, we're going to build a studio to make Halo our marquee franchise. And I liked Halo 4 a lot. I know a lot of people didn't really care for it. Halo 5 is a great game with a bad story. Like,
I'm in the boat with you, like in Halo 4. I really enjoyed Halo 4.
Yeah, and you know, they're showing that they're taking the right steps and totally rebuilding the Master Chief Collection from the ground up. Probably cost a ton of money to rebuild that game, right? Like, but they gave us ODST for free. There's talk of Reach DLC coming out next year, like, for free, and that cost them a lot of money to do that. And they're taking the right steps and making it right with fans. In terms of Microsoft acquiring studios, I'm surprised they haven't acquired Remedy already, because they've made 3 games for them.
I feel like they've done a good job of turning the ship around against what they did in 2013 with their initial statements about the console. I think they've righted things for the people that have bought their console, you know, and had to deal with that. They've done a great job. And now they're moving. Now the ship is further down their voyage of reaching their destination of putting out newer games, like newer IPs. Like, I'm sure you can't tell me that they're not, the biggest release they have this year is a Forza game. That's it. And nothing else this year. You can't tell me that they're not looking over at Sony going, holy shit, God of War is awesome. Holy crap. You know, Spider-Man's exclusive. That's awesome.
I'm sure they're having all those discussions internally. Like, I'm sure Phil Spencer is at the development meetings or whatever with, like, you know, the heads of studios whenever they get together and like, look, they have to be talking about Sony's games. They have to be talking about Nintendo's games too, right? Like,
not just Sony's, but Nintendo's as well.
But like, I mean, you look at the output the Switch has done, whether you play all the games or not, but you can't deny Zelda and Mario plus Rabbids and Splatoon aren't major hits for them. You know,
I think what they're seeing is like there's room for creativity.
Right.
We need to give our studios breathing room, have them come out with original IPs, refreshing IPs, instead of just, you know, I think they're realizing that the same formula of just sequel the shit out of our IPs is just not going to work. Like, continuously making a new Halo is just not going to work. You have to add spice to the same meal. You know what I mean? Like, there needs to be different games sprinkled throughout the releases of their major ones, and they don't have that, but they're working at that, you know?
Yeah.
And
I mean, it's like no one's told them this ever.
Yeah.
And I mean, it might make me buy the next Xbox and the next generation.
Yeah,
you know?
I can't. Yeah, just kind of like, I know we've been going long on this topic and we got another question to get to, but like, just saying, I can't wait to see what their version of Horizon is if they're really trying to reach that. You know, because I think they're making all the right moves to try to at least accomplish that. And you know, like I said, Horizon is one of, if not my favorite game this generation. You know, it's such a fantastic game, and like I don't really know what else to say, but yeah, yep.
Todd Oxtra of the Secret Friends Unite asks us, which Nintendo character? Which Nintendo character deserves a starring role in a GTA-like game? Must be realistic and gritty.
Oh, jeez.
I got this. Luigi in a Luigi detective style game in the LA Noir style gameplay. Like that would be awesome. I know Jesse was in that.
I feel like in order to do that, it'd have to be like really Dick Tracy as well.
Like it can be Dick Tracy, like cartoonish, but also be gritty. Like it can be. I feel like it can be both. You know what I mean? Like almost in a. Like, I think they could do it really well.
Yeah, don't you guys ever watch anime, nerds?
Yeah.
I don't, but I hear some of it's weird.
What if they did a real gritty Dick Tracy and Waluigi was the villain?
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, why don't they just make a Waluigi like noir detective thing? And
our own Jesse Douglas said in the Wario as a drug kingpin would be cool. Kind of like doing like I feel it would be cool to elaborate on that more. Be like a Scarface type setting. Have Wario like come up from the bottom and move like that could be really cool.
The Mushroom Kingdom is mine.
Exactly. And he's got to take out Mario. Like that would be badass. So.
There we go.
wow.
I don't know. Because I feel like putting Link in that role would just be dumb. Because he's a very boring character.
Well, because he doesn't talk, but yeah.
Tingle.
What if they did?
Talk about dark, scary anime characters.
I
don't know.
But see, like you could also do like Olimar from Pikmin.
Oh, jeez.
As like instead of being like a pimp, he just like has all the little Pikmin characters like as
wow,
working for him, doing whatever.
Yeah,
making meals. I don't know.
Doing a lot of stuff for him.
And then our last question is: What game do you? What's a game you love that is really bad? A guilty pleasure, if you will.
Didn't we already answer that?
We already answered that one.
Yeah, I mean, this is a different phrasing, and the only reason I'm
Jason can't ask two questions.
There's no two questions around here.
Yeah, what are you doing?
The reason
you got your own podcast to ask questions for.
Yeah, no. The reason I'm answering it is because I like what I like, and I'm not guilty about it. Fuck you.
Yeah. Who cares if I binged all 6 seasons of Gossip Girl in like 2 weeks? What? No.
Okay.
We talked about that on an episode.
Did we?
Yeah. We had a guilty pleasures episode.
Was I gone?
No, you were right there. It was just you and me.
You were probably playing Super Meat Boy at the time.
Probably.
Yeah, probably. No. I mean, I don't have any games that I feel bad about liking.
Yeah, I don't either.
Like, I think maybe if you had asked me like 5 years ago, I would have, but I just don't now. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Huh.
Oh, back to Dodd's question. What if Wario building on the Drug King pen thing? What if it was in the style of my Hotline Miami? What if it was like a top-down shooter where he just took things?
Hotline WarioWare.
That would be awesome. I'd buy it.
Devolver, talk to Nintendo.
Yeah. But hey, you let Ubisoft do a cross game for you. You know, let's do a crossover with us.
Where's my Wario Rabbids DLC?
It's like Hotline Waluigi, and he's just putting Google eyes on everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to propose that we skip 20 questions this week.
Lame. It's because it's my game.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's right.
Well, it's your game next week, Corey. Deal with it.
It's really easy. You'll get it in like 5 questions.
No, we won't.
You've said that before, and we will fail you forever.
This isn't a handheld game.
I might not fail you.
Huh?
I said I'm not drinking, so I might not fail you.
With that attitude. So I think we can call that an episode. This has been Nerds Gone Rogue, episode 113. Let's do a final roundup. Moose, where can we find you, sir?
You can find me at Svhenn on any social platform, any social media platform that I want to be on. You can listen to me, Jason, and Jeff discuss the PlayStation platform on Nerds Gone Platinum. I've got, if we can get the videos to work right, we've got my Dark Souls playthrough of the DLC should go up Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. Jason's in the process of editing those videos. And then we chat about everything PlayStation. It's you can tweet us at ng_platinum. And then you can also email us questions, comments, and concerns at nerdsgoneplatinum@gmail.com.
Sweet.
Matt?
I am infinite_rewind on every social media platform I choose to be a part of. You can also find me writing on on ngrradio.com about music that I listen to every day. I haven't done it in a couple weeks just because.
Check out that sweet thumbnail on the website.
Yeah, that sweet thumbnail is really good. You made that real nice. I haven't posted it in a couple weeks because I've just been wrapping up loose ends at work and.
Well, you're moving on to a new job, so it's understandable. You have a transition period going on.
I'm thinking it'll probably be a couple of weeks before I actually post it, just so I can get used to the schedule. But Matt's weekly rotation is not going away. And I just realized it's mid-September. We have to start thinking about Goaty again.
I know.
Yeah.
I don't even think I've finished 10 games this year.
I have a list going. I don't know if I'll have 10 games, but I haven't finished 10 games. But there's games that I've played that it take me a while to beat them.
Yeah.
But they're games where, like Celeste, you don't have to beat Celeste to enjoy the gameplay. I mean, sure, you might not enjoy the story, but you can play it for 3-4 hours and get the gist.
You got to do all the B sides and all the C sides and
all the C sides. Yeah, got to do it all.
Do it all.
All right.
No, but I mean, most of the games I was excited to play didn't come out to this fall anyway. So I mean,
yeah, I have nothing the rest of the year. I have a slight interest in Red Dead Redemption 2, but that's it for me for the rest of the year. So,
but Spider-Man totally changed my trajectory this fall. I was excited for Assassin's Creed, and then I got in Tomb Raider. Then I got distracted by Spider-Man and Call of Duty, 2 games I was not planning on ever touching. Yeah. So
life's what happens when you're making other plans, Corey.
Plus, you got to fit Assassin's Creed Odyssey in there, which I'm absolutely stoked for. So,
looks good. Good for people who want it.
Well, I want it, Moose.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I have no interest in Assassin's Creed. So, but
Corey,
yeah,
take us home.
All right. You can find me at CoreyandHD86 on Twitter and Instagram. You can find me on Nintendo Pal Block, our Nintendo podcast, and sometimes on our Xbox podcast, Arsenal X. You can also start finding my weekly blog, not called Weekly Rotation, on Nerds Gone Rogue. NGRradio.com.
Corey's not Weekly Rotation.
Yeah.
Corey's, I don't listen to music.
I'm gonna post Corey's Weekly Rotation. It's just gonna be like a blank blog.
He's gonna post a picture of that Ninja Turtles cassette that he has.
Yeah, every week for the rest of the year. No, I just post one song each week, and I think there's 12 songs on it or something. I don't know.
Yeah, 12 weeks.
Yeah. So, what else? I think that's it. Subscribe to our family of channels now. Every podcast has their own channel now. We decided to do that for some reason. Thought it was a good idea, so we're gonna try it out. So subscribe to them all. We need those URLs, so sub anyway. Let's see. Download our family of podcasts. Nerds Gone Platinum, Nintendo Pal Block, Arsenal X, and of course, Nerds Gone Rogue. Thank you guys so much for watching, and until next week, we love you.
Yeah.
Banana and out.
You're welcome.
Word.
Nice.